Welcome back, everyone. I'm sitting here with Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey talking about his laboratory of reform. Okay, so in New Jersey, as I get it, the unemployment rate is 9.1%. Lower than the national rate of 9.4. Let me ask you, you've seen some pretty good economic statistics nationwide. The Dow Jones, I'm told, is crossing 12,000. That's a good benchmark. There is a recovery going. A, do you agree with that, and do you see it in New Jersey?
Yes, on both. I agree that there is a recovery going, although it needs to get stronger. It's a little bit lackluster from my perspective at the moment. But New Jersey's unemployment rate when I became governor was 10%, and it was above the national average. We're now at 9.1, and we're below the national average. Now, it's still much too high. And 9.1% unemployment is not something that I'm going to take a victory lap over. But again, the same way as we're doing with taxes, Larry, we're making progress. We're moving in the right direction. And I am seeing also that this year our tax revenues are up about 5% over projections. So things are happening out there. I think we need it to be more robust, and we have to continue to prime the pump with lower regulations and lower taxes.
Regulations the biggest obstacle to job creation?
I think that combined with tax rates in New Jersey, it's the two. It's a double whammy. You're paying high tax rates and you're getting that hidden tax of great regulation. But to give you a benchmark for comparison, this administration cut regulations by 1/3 over the Corzine administration in our first year. So we're making absolute efforts.
What did you cut, man? Just some examples of regulatory.
It is crazy, some of the stuff we had in New Jersey. We had like the tire police in New Jersey, that there had to be a special stamp put on tires about the date when it was manufactured inside the tire and shipped to New Jersey. That made it different to sell tires here than any place else in America. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff that we're doing that the lieutenant governor has been put in charge of, and she is in charge of now a permanent red tape review group. Any new regulation proposed by one of my departments has to be reviewed by the lieutenant governor's office first, and if she thinks it's anti-competitive, she's going to reject it.
So you're going to have more regulatory rollbacks in your state or in your budget, and you're going to have across-the-board tax cuts? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, don't put words in my mouth, because I'm keeping the tax plan secret, Larry.
You are.
You're going to try it a number of times to do it.
Unveil it here on CNBC.
No, I was not going to unveil it on CNBC, but I want to unveil it on February 22nd during my budget address. But what you will see is the beginnings of tax reduction and reform in my budget on February 22nd. You already saw some tax reductions, even in my FY11 budget, which had an $11 billion deficit. I allowed the corporate surcharge to sunset, which John Corzine had extended a number of times while he was governor. I vetoed an income tax increase, and that veto was sustained by the legislature. So we are pushing back on this. We made a down payment on it in FY11. We'll make another down payment in FY12.
So you told us when we had dinner, the American Spectator Group, a month or two ago, answering the question about running for higher office, you said, I'm not ready to run yet. But what it sounds like is you are creating a state laboratory for entitlement reform, for public union reform, for tax reform, for regulatory reform. Why do you think you're not ready to be president?
Because in my heart, I know I'm not. I mean, you know, Larry, you've been around people who have run for high national office in your career. If you don't believe in your heart that you're ready, you have no business running. And just because you see political opportunity, that's not an excuse to run. I have to believe in my heart that I'm ready. I have a job to do in New Jersey. I love being the governor. I've only been doing it for a year. I have big things to accomplish here, and that does not include leaving and running for national office. And again, when I walked into the governor's office in January 2010, I felt completely confident that I was ready for the job. Not that there weren't be difficult days, because there are difficult days, but I never feel like I'm over my head. I do not want to go for national office unless and until I believe that I'm completely prepared in my heart and in my mind. And if I don't believe that, then I have no business running.
You know, the last reformer was governor of New Jersey. He was a liberal reformer, but he became president.
Yep, Woodrow Wilson.
Woodrow Wilson.
Absolutely.
So 12 months from now, and you have more experience, you would still rule it out?
Yeah, I don't see it.
You had dinner with Mitt Romney, I read. How was that? And is he one of your interesting reference points for the Republican nomination?
Well, listen, Governor Romney was a supporter of mine when I ran for governor in 2009, came in and endorsed me both in the primary and in the general election, and he's giving some thought to running for president. And so he asked if he we could come to New Jersey and sit and chat, and so we did. We had a very nice dinner together with some friends of mine at the governor's residence in Princeton. But we're far away from making any kind of decisions about, who we might support for president or what we might do on the national level in 2012 in that regard. But I consider Governor Romney a friend, and so we had a nice meal together. We had a good conversation.
Have you had dinner with any other GOP wannabes?
Well, listen, I traveled across the country in the last week of the campaign with Governor Barber of Mississippi, who I have extraordinary respect for. In that plane, traveling with us was Governor Pawlenty, another guy who I've gotten to know over my time running for governor and being governor, who I have great respect for. Mitch Daniels is somebody who I've spent a number of evenings with over the course of the last year, because he is a absolute storehouse of great ideas for how to get your state under fiscal control. He's one of the brightest governors in America, and I have great respect for Governor Daniels. So that's a list of the folks that I know and that I've met with over the last year, and I think they all are really credible folks, and we have to see now whether they decide whether they want to offer themselves for service or not.
Can President Obama be beaten? Should he be beaten?
Well, listen, anybody can be beaten, and I don't think anybody's immune from being beaten. And listen, the president's first 2 years were not necessarily to my liking in a lot of areas. Higher taxes, Obamacare, more spending than our country's ever seen. I think it's gotten us to the position we're in. And so, listen, I'm a Republican, and I hope that we're able to nominate someone who's going to be able to firmly and strongly make that case that having Republican leadership in the White House would be better for America's future.
All right, Governor Chris Christie, you've had dinner and visited with all these others. Thank you for visiting with the Kudlow Report. We appreciate it very much.
Thanks for having me, Larry.
All right. All right, very, very interesting. Thanks.